Your mind is constantly pulled off course. Notifications, deadlines, and endless to-do lists tug you in every direction. But what if there were an ancient method to quiet that chaos, focus your mind with laser precision, and finally reach the goals you set? In this video, I'll show you how to apply the Lotus Method, rooted in Eastern philosophy, to turn scattered thoughts into a clear, calm, concentrated state. Skip this, and you risk staying trapped in distraction. Stay to the end and change your life starting now. Part 1. Gohan's battle with resistance. Gohan has enormous potential just like you. He holds big dreams and clear goals. He wants to get in shape, excel at work, and build a strong personal life. But every time he tries to take a meaningful step, something stops him. It isn't that Gohan lacks motivation. He watches inspiring videos, listens to podcasts, reads about self-development. Yet when it's time to act, his brain sabotages him, sliding his attention toward easier, more comfortable activities, like scrolling his phone. Each time he plans something important, his mind hunts for something simpler. He's stuck in a loop of procrastination and self-doubt. He sees what's happening, but can't seem to change it. And he's not alone. Most people face the same trap. The mind avoids anything difficult or unfamiliar and chooses comfort. We distract ourselves with social media, games, or pleasant daydreams. It's as if Gohan is waging war against himself, and no amount of motivational content creates lasting change. He starts to realize he needs something deeper than a quick surge of enthusiasm. In Eastern philosophy, the mind is often compared to a wild monkey, leaping from branch to branch, from one thought to the next, avoiding discomfort. The Buddha said, "Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts." That is exactly what's happening to Gohan. His own mind pulls him from his true aims, choosing comfort now over fulfillment later. Ancient monks understood this problem and created methods to tame the mind and bring it into clarity and calm. Gohan's problem is, in truth, the mind's normal state. By nature, the mind resists difficulty and prefers safety and habit. But in the Eastern teachings that inform the Lotus Method, trying to overpower the mind head-on is not the most effective path. The first step is to notice the resistance. It exists because the mind is trying to protect us from discomfort, but the dynamic can change. Awareness is the key. When Gohan realizes his brain is simply programmed to avoid the hard path, he stops blaming himself. This is the first lesson of the Lotus Method. Before you change thoughts, learn to see them. Understanding that his mind is only trying to shield him from difficulty, Gohan stops suppressing himself and begins to observe that mechanism. No longer scolding himself, he can move to the next step, releasing resistance and learning to float with the current of his thoughts instead of fighting them. Part 2. Accepting the flow of life. Gohan sees that his old strategies, forcing himself to work, trying to smash through with willpower, aren't delivering. He looks for deeper wisdom and finds the teachings of Lao Tzu, the Taoist sage. Lao Tzu speaks of Wu Wei, non-doing, living in harmony with life rather than resisting it. One line strikes Gohan: "Let go. All is done." At first, it sounds illogical. How can letting go lead to achievement? But Gohan suspects he's stuck precisely because he's been pushing himself too hard, fighting himself. The Lotus Method, inspired by this philosophy, says the answer isn't to push harder, but to stop struggling. Wu Wei sounds like a paradox in a world that preaches work harder. Yet Lao Tzu teaches that when we move with life's current rather than against it, we can achieve more with less strain. This doesn't mean passivity or surrendering outcomes. It means stopping the habit of treating difficult tasks as enemies. When we push excessively, life pushes back. When we align with the current, we move forward with fewer wasted efforts. Gohan begins to practice this. Instead of forcing himself through hard tasks, he accepts them as part of the flow. To his surprise, they stop feeling so heavy. This becomes the second step of the Lotus Method: release resistance and find harmony in your actions. Part 3. The power of stillness and reflection. Seeking ways to steady his restless mind, Gohan encounters Zen Buddhism and the practice of Zazen, sitting meditation. From the outside, it looks like just sit and be quiet. But when he tries, he sees how wildly his mind thrashes. Gohan always believed the solution to problems was to do more. Yet the Zen master Dogen taught, if you cannot find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? Gradually, Gohan realizes true strength and clarity do not arise from frantic motion, but from silence. As he practices Zazen, the mind, like a wind-tossed lake, begins to settle as the winds of thought subside. In that stillness, he starts to see his problems differently. They no longer look impossible. They look like steps of growth. He recognizes that constant rushing kept him from seeing the real nature of his tasks. This is the third step of the Lotus Method, cultivate calm. Just as a lotus's roots, sunk in muddy soil, feed its growth and bloom, so do Gohan's difficulties feed his development. By giving time daily to quiet, he learns to approach his goals with a clear, gathered mind. Part 4. Turning reflection into action. Immersed in stillness, Gohan notices change. His mind is no longer chaotic. He recalls the Shaolin monks. They meditated for long periods and also honed martial skill. They believed true harmony is the union of mental clarity and physical action. When the mind is calm, the body can move with maximum efficiency. When the mind is confuciente, the body flails. Gohan understands. Meditation gives clarity, but without action there is no progress. Like the Shaolin who carry inner stillness into every motion, he brings his new composure into daily life. He starts doing tasks one at a time, pouring full energy and attention into each. What once seemed hard now becomes manageable. The fourth step of the Lotus Method is conscious action. Gohan discovers that success isn't doing 100 things at once. It's doing each thing with complete concentration. Now, difficult tasks no longer scare him. He approaches them calmly and methodically. Part 5. The Lotus and the Art of Patience. Gohan notices that even with focused action, results aren't arriving as fast as he hoped. Frustration creeps in. Maybe he's doing something wrong? Then he remembers the lotus, slowly rising from the mud before opening in full beauty. In the teachings of the East, the lotus symbolizes patience and purity, born from murky water. Gohan sees he, too, must practice patience. Slow, steady steps are the path to success. If he tries to force events, he only stirs more resistance. Embracing slow blooming as normal, he stops fretting and feels a deep calm. This is the final lesson, the art of patience. He now enjoys a steadiness he never knew. A question for you, where are you right now? Resisting hard tasks, or ready to apply the Lotus Method? Start small, perhaps with a few minutes of stillness, a deliberate focus on one task, or a patient acceptance of your own pace of growth. Progress will come in its time. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, and let's continue the journey toward mastery of the mind together.